I am your son, sir, and by your decision my life is ruled. I can value nothing, not even those I love, above your good guidance.
Only for this do fathers pay for sons. Obedient, loyal, and ready to strike the foes of their family and to love their friends. When a man's children turn against him, he has great trouble in his home and laughter among his friends. Do not be fooled, my son, by the warmth you hold for this woman. She has proven a proud and willful enemy, and will betray you as she betrays me, as she betrays our state. Your passion will be cold comfort in the arms of such a creature. No wound strikes deeper than love turned to hate.
Father, let me speak with her.
No! There is nothing more to say. She has no wish to speak other than to boast of her crimes. Take her away! She has chosen her friends from the death, and you must stand among the living.
How can you do this, Father?
How can I not? If I tolerate a traitor within our state, I make myself a traitor too. No, she must face the law, as must anyone who places themselves upon it.
She is to be my wife. How can you send her from our home to her grave?
How, if I allow an enemy inside our home, can I hope to rule those outside our walls? How can I hope to manage the affairs of state if I can't manage my own household? This girl has taken the law into her own hands, and to twist the law to one's own pleasure is a danger to us all. Law and order upholds the state, and he who leads the state must uphold the law, even in the smallest matter. Only law and leader, obeyed without question, protects the safety of our people. I have stood in the blood of battle, my son, and listened to the counsel of kings. There is no greater peril than disobedience and disorder. States are devoured by it, armies defeated, homes laid in ruin, victory turned to rout, when order and obedience might have saved lives and honor. The ruler who lives by the law our people can depend on in storm of war, and turn to in time of trouble. To betray the law is to betray our city, Haman. To betray ourselves, and that we cannot do, not for the arms of any woman.
As far as an old woman can tell, it seems to me your majesty has spoken well.
Father, man's wisdom is the gift of heaven. His understanding is the greatest gift of all. I neither am nor would wish to be clever enough to prove you wrong. But there may be men, Father, who do not always think as you do. I can watch and listen in the city to what you cannot see and hear. Whispers spoken in the darkness, troubled voices silenced by fear. Your people pity Antigone, Father. Their secret voices call this punishment unjust. The most unjust a woman ever faced for such an honorable act.
There is no honor in breaking our law.
There is honor in burying the dead. To mourn a brother fallen in battle rather than leaving his corpse to rot in a field.
Do you think I cannot feel? My heart is not so hard as you believe. But to rule from emotion leads only to chaos. A wise leader does not listen to cries and whispers, but to the practical voice of reason. Don't turn your back to me!
Father, I respect the burden of your reason and the burden of your rule. I do love Antigone, but there is nothing I prize above your happiness and well-being. What greater good can any son desire? What greater gift can any father wish from his son? Only for this do I speak. Let not your first thought be your only thought. Think if there cannot be some other way. Surely to think your way the only wisdom, and yours the only word, the only will, betrays a shallow spirit and an empty heart. It is no weakness for the wisest man to learn when he is wrong and to know when to yield. So, on the margin of a flooded river, trees bending to the torrent live unbroken, while those that strain against it snap. Father, think. Put aside your anger, set aside your pride. Infallible wisdom belongs to the gods, and it is rare among men. The greater gift among mortals is to hear, to listen, and to follow wise advice.
There is something to be said, my lord, for his point of view. And for yours as well. There is much to be said on both sides.
Am I now to take lessons from children?
No lesson you need be ashamed of. It isn't a question of age, but one of right and wrong.
Now you would teach me right from wrong. Is it right to admire an act of unlawful
Not
disobedience?
if the act were also dishonorable.
And was this woman's act not dishonorable?
Not in the eyes of thieves.
The eyes of thieves? I am thieves!
A one-man state, now who speaks as a child.
Not as a child, as a king. I am responsible for the state, as I am responsible for myself. The state and the ruler are one.
Perhaps if you rule a deserted isle, but here you must govern with people.
This is the woman speaking in you. Of course you would take her part.
No. Unless you're the woman, it's you I'm fighting for.
How? When everything you say is against me.
Only because I know you're wrong. I can see the people.
Wrong? To respect the law? To respect authority and rule?
What sort of respect tramples on all that is holy?
The daughter of Oedipus, move your tongue! Have you no will of your own? Coward! Slave! Will you turn away from your father to plead the cause of this woman?
It's not the cause of my bride I plead, but your cause and mine. The cause of our people, the cause of the gods.
The girl has made her choice. You'll never marry her this side of death.
If she dies, she won't die alone.
I won't listen to your threats.
Is it a threat to argue against your stubborn pride?
You forget to whom you speak.
No, you're my father. Were you not my father, I would call you mad.
Then speak, boy. Say what you will. You say your soft words for the girl who makes you her slave.
Father, listen to me.
I do listen. I listen to your impudent whining, to your insult and lies. I listen to you shame your father in the streets of Thebes. Bring out the girl, now! Bring this enemy to the state, let her die before he dies. Here, this instant with her bridegroom beside her.
That is a sight I will never see, nor from this side shall you again see me.
Passion! Arrow!
will witness your wickedness and pride.
My lord, who shall say what a young man may do in anger?
Let him go! Let him go, let him rage so he can rage no more! His raging cannot save these women.
You mean then to doom them both?
No, not the one whose hand is innocent.
To what death do you condemn the other?
Take her to a deserted place, a place where no man has ever walked, and there close her within a cave. Leave her unharmed and with food. I will not have her death on the hands of the city. There let her pray for the return of her reason, or die alone, calling for help to the gods of the dead that she loves. She will learn what hope there is for those who worship death.
Here is a sight beyond all bearing, at which my tired eyes must weep.
You see me on my final journey, taking my last breath in the light of day. I go now to join my family, alive but buried in a rocky bower. My bridal gift, an endless sleep. Death, not Haman, will be my lover.
But praise and glory go with you, lady. The gods will honor your deed.
You go with your beauty, unmarred by sickness, your body untouched by sword.
Living and free, you have chosen your fate, and faced death as no woman before you.
Niobe, the daughter of Tantalus, was doomed to such a fate. On the top of Mount Sepilus she died, locked in chains of ivy, crying in grief to the merciless sun, to the driving rain which beat down upon her. There, alone on that rock, Niobe called to the gods, and in their silence, she slowly turned to stone.
She stands there still, in the melting snow, the rock of Sepilus. Like you, my sister, stubborn and proud, washed with eternal weeping.
Niobe was a maid of immortal birth. So much greater your mortal glory to share the fate of a goddess. A living death, but a name undying.
Surely the gods will see your goodness, even if none of the fates are blind. Your name will be set in places of honor, your story be told in poet's song.
These words are more mockery than comfort. Empty tales of dreaming women. I have no wish to die a martyr or to find place in immortal song. I acted simply to honor my brother. Yet simple deeds like stones dropped in water ripple wildly beyond all thought. I fear the gods look down at us in laughter, at all our miseries and the follies of fate.
The day and time grows short, as does my patience with this willful woman. Enough of these mournful words. Take her away.
Oh, sons of my city, people of thieves! Will you stand in silence in the house of my father and watch me unjustly banished? To this rock-hewn chamber, this cold tomb must I go to linger alone between life and death?
My child, you have chosen your way beyond the limits of daring and pushed against the law enthroned.
This fate, it seems, the gods require from you is from your father.
My father, my soul, unending burden of the house of Oedipus, my mother, my brothers, whom now I follow. In honoring their death, have I found my own?
Your act in itself was one of good, but you flew in the face of order. You turned the law in your own hands. You placed yourself above the good of our city and turned away from voice of reason.
Even an act committed in honor cannot stand above authority and rules.
Our city will fall without respect for order. If you betray our law, you betray our state.
Your willful passion, no matter how righteous, placed the good of one against the protection of many.
Your pride alone has led you here.
And alone I must go, down the way that lies before me. No funeral hymn, no marriage music, no son, no heir from this day forth. No friend to weep at my departure. So to my grave, my bridal bower, my everlasting prison, to linger between life and death. Last and unhappiest of my ill-fated house I go. More girl than woman, lost to death before my time. Yet I know my father waits for me there. My mother will welcome me with tears, and my brothers both will greet me gladly. Each of you I have laid to rest, pouring prayers and offerings at your graves. Yet for this honor to you and the gods, I have earned nothing but suffering and death. For burying your body, my dearest brother, For honoring your spirit above the law, I stand condemned by Thebes, by Creon, to a solitary, living grave. How can this be lawful? How can this be just? To have acted rightly, yet to suffer such wrong? Never a bride, never a mother, unfriended, unmourned, unloved? What law of heaven have I transgressed? What just God would not spare me now? What hope can come to us in a world where nothing is certain, where devotion is deemed sacrilege and my good is another's evil? I have followed my heart, and if that is wrong, I shall learn my lesson in death. If these men, my enemies, are wrong, I wish them no worse instruction.
Still the tempest gusts in her heart.
All the more cause to hasten her guard to go about their business.
Your words have the sound of death.
She will hear no other voice.
O gods of our fathers, people of Thebes! I am Antigone, daughter of Oedipus. I go now to die in a rocky tomb, the prisoner of Creon, my uncle, your king. I have no shame in my actions. I have honored those things to which honor truly belongs.
Away with her now to her vaulted cell. Leave her and let her die if she will, or call to the gods for grace. Her blood will not stain the hands of Thebes, but today in this city, her life is ended.
Sing to me, daughters of Thebes! Raise your voices against this sorrow and hate!
And wailing at the doors of death. The voices of women can cry forever, yet never change the motions of fate.
So the hands of destiny work beyond our understanding.
Yet others too, both wicked and pure, have suffered the touch of uncaring fate. Sealed alive behind walls made of stone, of metal, of anger, of hate. Bodies left to wither and die, spirits lost, with no escape.
So the force of destiny moves beyond all mortal knowing.
A power unbending to war or wealth, unyielding to cries, unmoved by reason, rewarding right as often as wrong, yet good and evil not comprehending.
Silence! There will be no mourning. As for her brother, so for this woman who sets herself against our state.
Is there any wisdom in the world?
What is the meaning of that taunting sigh?
Noble king, I bear news from the oracle.
Welcome again, Creasus, you and your eyes. What news from the gods?
Words of warning, my son, if you will hear and heed them.
Grave words, good priest.
Creon, mark me now, for you stand on the razor's edge. At the seat of the oracle where I sit to read the signs of heaven is a gathering place for every kind of bird, their songs filling the temple with music for the gods. Yet there, today, came to my ears no songs, but sounds of birds in vicious combat. Savage cries and whipping wings, tearing each other with deadly talons, locked in shrieking, gruesome war. Full of fear at this omen, I made an offering at the altar fire, but the heavens would send no answering flame. The gods left our gift in silence and left their fire to smolder and die. Even now, the ashes of our altar lay cold. Our temple stands empty, dark in despair. Through the eyes of this child who sees for me that I may see for others, I have read the signs of a sacrifice failed.
How could the gods be unhappy on the day they bring us victory and peace? Why would they deliver our city, then turn their blessings away?
O king, an unhappy answer. This blight on our city is by your hand. Our fires, our prayers, our altars are gorged with unholy blood. Blood that feasts with wild beasts. Blood that draws down vultures. Blood that by your order stains the ground of Thebes. The unholy blood of Oedipus, spilling from the veins of his unburied son.
No act of man has power enough to pollute the goodness of the gods. The heavens have led us to law and order. They would not turn away for such a reason. I have made this order to protect our city, to stand as a sign for our enemies.
Humble yourself before these omens, my son. Even a king can fall to sin, but the sinner is not forever lost. He who will repent and make amends, bend yourself to the will of heaven.
To the will of heaven, or to the will of a priest? Your words meant much to our people, Tiresias, but I know your art of old. I have seen you sell promises of comfort, and work your miracles for gifts of gold. Are the words of our priests now for sale to those who seek profit in our blood? Would you, with these rebels, keep us at war, to fill the seats of your temple, to line your altars with unholy gold?
My lord, I have known the priest, to be honest. I fear these words are indeed from the gods.
This priest would not be the first to seek profit behind the mantle of God. I know that behind your blessings you have stood against my rule. Have you made me your target now as before you made my son, Megarius? Your prophecy marked him as our price for peace, pushed him from the walls of our city, a sacrifice, poured from my home by the gods, or sold by a prophet for promises of gold. You have bartered my son, Tiresias, and now you would make me your goods, to trade and traffic for your gain.
I understand your pain, my king, and forgive these bitter words. Your son sacrificed his body in battle, as did the children of all our state. He was pushed by his faith in the gods, not by the hand of a priest. My will was only for his good, as now it is only for yours, and for the good of our city. This warning is not from my mouth, but from the lips of the gods. Pay to the dead his due, wound not the fallen. It is no glory to kill and kill again, nor to send righteous children to living graves. Only a fool is governed by unyielding pride.
It is not foolish to trust in the law, but great and terrible is the fall, Tiresias, of mortals who seek unholy profit by uttering evil in the guise of good.
Even when the messenger is hated, a wise king will listen to sensible words.
No! Pray as you will, Tiresias, but all the silver of Sardis and all the gold of India will not buy a tomb for this traitor, or freedom for those who defy our rule. The law is written and delivered, and your purchased words cannot change the order.
Words can be purchased, good king, but not understanding. What price can be set on careful wisdom?
None, good priest. And were you wise, you would more carefully speak.
And were you wise, my son, you would more carefully listen.
I have no wish to quarrel with you.
You quarrel with the gods, calling their prophecy false.
The gods I honor, Tiresias. It is their prophet I call false. Your words are not the free gifts of heaven, but bought and sold in the streets of Thebes.
There are those of my calling who seek such profit, as there are kings who seek unrighteous gain.
Do you call your king dishonest?
No, I call my king stubborn and proud. I call my king senseless and lost. I call my king to listen to the gods.
Take care, good priest, you tread on dangerous ground.
All of Thebes is in danger, king, yet you will not hear its cry.
Speak then, reveal your mind, that you share your words with no hope of gain.
Can you still think that my motive is greed? The words of the gods are not for sale.
Nor is the will of the king.
Then hear this, proud king. Before the chariot of the sun has finished another day, you will lose the last of your sons, and payment for the debt you have brought. Two debts your house must pay. One for the child sent to the living tomb, the other for the dead still without a grave, lying unburied, unhonored, unblessed by the gods. The wheels of fate you have pushed in motion, and nothing can alter their turn. Even now, the avenging furies, the hunters of hell who seek and destroy, lie waiting to turn your evil deeds against the dearest that you call your own. Do I speak this for gain? I speak for the gods. The time is soon when the weeping wails of men and women will fill your home. The people evil thieves will scream curses at you for the pollution you bring to their altars and homes, for defiling their city with the blood of children, the unholy blood of an unburied son. This is my words. These are my orders. These are the words of the gods. Come, child, lead me home. We will leave this king to vent his anger on younger, more willing ears. Time will teach his arrogant tongue to speak in a milder tone.
My lord, the priest has foretold terrible things. Forgive me, sir, but I that was young and now am old have never heard the words of this oracle and seen them prove to be wrong.
I have made this order to protect our city, not to bring it to ruin. It is weakness to yield to this curse, to trust this priest above myself, above reason and law. Yet if these words are true,
Both ways are hard. It is time to weigh all thought, to seek good counsel.
what is it you would have me do?
Set up a grave for the unburied body. Release Antigone from her rocky tomb.
You would have me do this, after all the words I have spoken.
Yes, my son. The wise leader can admit a wrong. Your people will praise you as a merciful king. Your law is meant to serve, to protect our city, not to destroy.
Yes. Yes, it is hard to give in, but I cannot stand alone against fate.
Go now, and quickly. Let no hand but yours turn the grave. Hurry, my lord. The Furies move swiftly against the follies of men.
I will go now, bringing only their sister to share the sacred rites. Callers me here, bring shovels and picks. At last my mind is clear. I have made this order against the will of this god. I want his body unburied and this girl entombed. I must now, with my own hands, bury the one with all due honor, and free the other from her rocky cell. Come, child. Surely the heavens will smile on thieves when they see these holy acts are done.
May the gods will it so.
whose names are many, son of the thunderer, giver of wine, Dionysus, Iacchus, bringer of joy, child of Cadmus, born of Thebes. O Bacchus, mighty through all the earth, come to us now in your troubled home.
Thebes, thy mother sickens for thee, healer of all her ills.
Our gentle rivers sigh for thee. Our stars hunger for your touch of fire.
Our valleys long for your dancing feet.
Our nights for your songs of passion.
Dionysus, Iacchus, Bacchus, come. Return to your city again. Let your temples fill with sounds of joy, and let the night shake with night-long revels. Dionysus, Iacchus, Bacchus, come. But set pleasure afoot and delight abounding. The men of Thebes stand ready to sing, the women to dance at your bidding. O bountiful God, return to us, return to us. Dionysus, Iacchus, Bacchus,
Dionysus,
by his own.
His father?
His father drove him to do it, but the hand was his own.
Then all has happened as the priest foretold.
My friends,
The queen! Welcome, my lady.
I have been this day in Athens in prayer at the temple palace for the soul of my son Megarius lost to this bloody war. News arrived that fighting was ended, and we hurried again to Thebes. But from your hollow faces, I fear that joy was too soon spoken. What new has happened? What more must we bear? Speak! I am no stranger to grief.
Madam, it was I that saw it, and I will tell you what truth I know. I followed the king, your husband, to the edge of the field where the body of Polynices, my brother, lay. We prayed for him and washed his remains so the gods would welcome his spirit. Then with all of the holy rites, we burned his body and over the ashes raised a mound of earth. Our prayers done, we turned toward the cave where Antigone had been imprisoned. By the order of Creon, she waited there to marry with death, not with Haman. Before we reached the accursed tomb, we heard the cries of miserable anguish.
No!
The king ran to the mouth of the cave and pulled the stones from the passage. And with the torch I followed to see my sister in the corner of the cave, hanging from her neck. The rope was of pure white linen, woven from strips of her dress. And with his arms about her stood your son, weeping, lamenting his newly lost bride. When Creon saw them, he moaned in horror and his own eyes filled with pain. He cried for Haman to come away and reached to pull him from the tomb. But Haman pushed aside his hand and with a murderous scream in the face of his father drew his sword and blindly swung until he fell exhausted at last to his knees. With Creon standing there still unharmed, he turned the sword against himself and thrust it deep into his side. As we watched his life ebb away, Haman reached to hold my sister, embracing Antigone with enfolding arms, his spurting blood staining her body red. I ran from the cave and left them there, two bodies entwined, wedded in death, a witness to the world of ill-fated love and the calamity that comes through the pride of man.
What is the life of man? A thing not fixed for good or evil, fashioned for praise or blame. Chance raises a man to heights, chance casts him down. None can foretell what fate will bring, nor truly understand what it is. Creon was once an enviable man. He saved his country from her enemies, and with his people shouting praise assumed the sovereign throne. His only joy was to protect the city, as he sought to protect his family at home. The honored king of a noble city, the honored father of a royal house. Now, all is lost. For life without life's joys is but awakening death. Such a life as Creon's, and for all who love without gladness, riches and rank and shows of the state, without the joys of home and heart, are nothing but empty shadows.
Most wise, most brave woman, she goes to vent her grief alone.
I will follow. Her loss is my own.
Haman, my son.
Oh, the voice of the king, bearing the weight of the gods.
Oh, see the fruit of stubborn pride. See the end of unbending law. I am the slayer. Here is the slain. I am the father. Here is the son. Dead for my faults, not for his own.
Alas, too late, we have seen the truth.
So I learn in my sorrow. Fate has delivered its punishments. The gods have struck down my home, trampled my last hope of joy.
What more? What worse pain could follow?
Oh, insatiable fate, will you destroy me yet? I am dead already!
Look then and see. Nothing is hidden now.
All this and more you must bear.
Oh, blood upon blood, my child dead, and there my wife, the son, the mother.
There stood your wife and queen, the wedded knight, clothes in her hand, and in the darkness she called to the dead. To Megarius, her eldest, to Antigone, my sister, to Haman, her youngest, she called in prayer. And crying a curse on you, their slayer, she turned the knife in her trembling hand and plunged the blade into her heart.
To die is best in anything is best in evil times. Let me not see another day. Death is my only happiness.
No! The future is not to be known. Our care must be with the present.
I ask for nothing more than death.
Ask for nothing. To die is easy. Only living is hard. What shall come, no mortal can know. What shall be, no mortal can escape.
Oh God. I am nothing. I have no life. I have blindly betrayed my city, my family, my sons, my wife. I don't know where to turn, where to look for peace. My comfort lies before me, dead, and all that I had dreamed has come to nothing.
Not just to know, but to understand. Not just to hear,